Hey everyone, welcome to another reviewed episode of This Is Us. You are here with the Sotong sisters, Delia and Jazz.
Hey,
Jazz,
hey.
talk about this episode, Birth Mother.
Dude, this was one of my favorite This Is Us episodes to date. Like, of all the seasons, this was so bomb. I loved it.
I agree. It was amazing. I mean, finally getting another piece of the puzzle to Randall's history and his story, learning the intricacies of what it was that, or the reasons why his mom never came looking for him or couldn't come looking for him. We had touched on a little bit last week, like, yo, what are they going to do with this storyline?
Mm-hmm.
And they did it well and realistic.
Yeah. It was messy. It was heartbreaking. It was all the things, but I don't know. Let's get into it. What you want to start with?
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say Beth's hair is just, I can't. I just love every scene. I feel like she's so intentional, not just about the way that she as a character interacts with Randall's character, but like the way she looks, the way she positions herself, the way that she supports him or reads him the right act. Like everything about Beth's character is fantastic. She's human, she's complicated, she's flawed at times, but she's so real. And so I loved all of her in this episode, even though she didn't say much, but she was there the whole, you know what I mean? From start to finish, from top to bottom. I loved everything about Beth. And I was like, oh my God.
She always has a presence, like no matter what. If it's a little smart comment, if it's a supportive something, like you always feel her presence. And I agree with you.
I love that. Okay, so Randall's backstory, his mom's story. You want to start? Let's start from the beginning. So I knew, you know what? I had a feeling that they were going to make her from a well-to-do family, and that was going to
expecting that at all.
I thought it was going to go a little bit differently towards the end, but what I was thinking in my mind is that she was maybe going to be from a well-to-do family, and so then once she got pregnant and then got sober, they like forced her to not go back. Like I thought maybe it was gonna be something along those lines. You know what I mean? And like we're gonna keep all of this very hush hush, quiet. You know, you're not gonna say anything. We're not gonna say anything. Leave it alone. Type situation. That's what I was thinking. So I had half of it right.
No, but I loved that they took it back to her earlier days and showed her family and just, they were well off. They were super formal at home, you know, their family dinners, the dresses that she wore, everything was just perfect to a T. And then showing like her relationships with her family members, her dynamic with her father, with her brother, and just seeing all of that really made her story come alive. And I love the way that they did that.
Yeah, same. I loved watching her interaction with her brother. And I felt the same as Randall. And I'm so glad that they give voice to that feeling, because I also felt the same. I was like, dang, we just found and lost the uncle all in like a minute and a half. Yeah. I was like, no, because I was like, yes, Randall got an uncle. Like, this is great.
No, that was heartbreaking. I was so invested in this episode. Like when I tell you, I watched the whole episode with my head cocked to the side and was just like, oh, like I was so invested. So as soon as they were like, oh, he went to war, like the brother went to war, I was like, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. And then the officers, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this right now. So I knew, I already saw that coming. That was heartbreaking.
I was so devastated. I was like, no, come on. I was like, that would have been like, it would have been really nice for Randall to be able to have a piece of his mom physically, like someone physically who knew his mom back then that was family, you know? Yeah. I also wondered though, because they said he was in Vietnam, and now granted, there were a lot of different, you know, platoons, and I don't know all the wording for military groupings, but I'm wondering if they're going to try to creates some kind of tie-in to Jack, who was also in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
because earlier in this season we had a little ships passing in the night situation between Jack and William,
Yep.
where they were both at the hospital at the same time, but they never connected. So I'm just curious as to if that was like a foreshadowing of maybe something we might see later on between her brother and Jack even. But I don't know. I don't know if even
The timeline
the
works.
timeline works. I know they were both in Vietnam, but I don't know if the timeline works and how that would work.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. But when just seeing her grieve her brother's death and
Mm.
her auntie taking her out to the water and being like, just let it go, and she's just like screaming in the water, I was like, oh my gosh, my heart is
Yeah.
wrenched. But yeah, just seeing her go through that process, and then like they called her the woman who wasn't drowning, like High called her that. Yeah, it was such a journey. Literally, this episode from start to finish took you on a whole roller coaster. It felt like a movie, but it was just,
Mm-hmm.
one episode. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I loved his line, I cook, you eat.
Yeah.
It was just so cute. He was like, "Okay, I mean, if you can't cook, it's all right. We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And just watching their relationship and what he knew about her,
Hmm.
and the fact that he didn't even know about any of that stuff until much later in her life. Once she came back and she was living in her aunt's house.
Yeah.
Even after all that, he didn't know until she got sick.
Hmm.
And it was just those last 2 years of her life that he spent with her that he got to know her and know what she went through in her journey.
Yeah.
And then even himself. So I'm wondering if the little girl that we saw him with earlier in the season was maybe like his granddaughter or
Granddaughter.
something.
Yeah.
you know but
That
I just
was
love how they put all the pieces together.
Yeah, but like seeing her, when she came back and he was married and his
Mhm.
wife was pregnant, I was like, he got a whole family. No, it's wrecking the romance. I was like, I thought they were finally going to get together. So even watching that, having like them having a romance from a distance over
Mhm.
time, and then his wife passed away, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was a whole saga.
It was when they were like, Beth was like, all y'all did was wave. She was like, all that sexual tension, all y'all did was wave. I loved it. Can you just imagine just waving at somebody from across the market for 20 something years? Like,
Yes,
y'all just waving?
that's
Mm-mm.
insane. That's
That's
insane.
crazy.
But yeah, I
But
mean,
this, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I know we're kind of all over the place, hopping back and forth. There's just so much, it's so much.
I know.
But
Okay.
I was just gonna say, like, you could tell, like, the struggle she was having with her life that she lived there, and just how suffocated she felt, and how she
Mhm.
knew there was more out there, but she couldn't leave. Like, that kind of like hopscotch double dutch move that you do when you're thinking, like, okay, is this really all life has to offer? So, like, seeing
Yeah.
that and seeing just like her internal struggles that she went through, and then, with loss, all of the loss she experienced, it was just, yeah, it was heartbreaking.
It was. It was. Okay. So let's go back a little bit more. So, we get to the point where like her brother's gone, and we can
Yep.
definitely see that as a catalyst towards her being like, I have to make a change in my life. Like, this is
Hmm.
not working for me. Right.
Hmm.
And then, um, and then Pop is like, you gonna get married to this man at the bank.
And he was like, it's going to be an easy yes to this proposal. Sir, we are not marrying him. No, it's not. You can give him an easy yes, but I'm not giving him an easy yes to
You
this
can marry
proposal.
him if you want to.
No, thank you.
She was like, nope, I'm leaving. I'm out.
Right.
And then for her to move up to Chicago, or she wanted to go to Chicago, but then she only ended up in Philly. So then being in Philly, and then we know the story of her and William. After watching them come for her in the hospital room,
Mm.
I was like, I my blood was hot. Like, I was hot.
Mm-hmm.
because she
Mhm.
had no one there to advocate for her. She had no one there to help. No one really knew, no one even knew where she was. She was all alone. William thinks she's dead. Like,
Mhm.
and they just straight up took her, pled guilty, threw her in jail. And then this was the part that got me even worse was the Philly jails were full, so they sent her to California.
To California, that blew me. I was like, all the way across the whole entire United States of America.
Like what?
Yeah, that's how they do us.
That was some bull. I was like, that is
Mhm.
wild. Like you
Yeah,
couldn't have sent her to New York or Jersey. You had to
yeah,
send her clear across the country to Cali.
yeah. That's
Come
insane.
on.
Yep.
Like that was wild. So of course she's out there 5 years. She's, we saw what the moment where she called her dad, but she couldn't
Oh,
do it.
oh my gosh. That and he was on the. He was like, I'm here. Like, oh my gosh, that moment. I was like, just say something,
I know.
anything.
I was like,
Got you. Like, you can come home. It's okay. We'll rectify the situation.
please say something. Please say something. Somebody say something. Somebody say something.
Oh my
Nothing.
gosh,
Nothing. I was like, dang.
that was sad. That was
And then
so
after that, she just, I mean, she couldn't get back home. Like she couldn't get back to Philly. She only had a one-way ticket. And then I guess, the guilt
sad.
of all of that is what kept her away.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Yeah,
feeling like I've already missed 5 years.
yeah,
What am I going to be able to, how am I going to be able to explain this? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? You know,
yeah. That moment was really sad, and you could tell the weight of that guilt, the shame, all of that, all like the sadness, the grief, all of that was just weighing on her. But it made me think, like, man, your father is still on the other end of this phone, and like, yeah, all of that is between you guys, but like, it's still not too late. Like, you're not too far to come home. You know what I mean? It's like a prodigal son moment. I'm like, baby, just go home. It's
and
okay. We'll work
I
it
was like, just
out.
call again. Just call again. It's okay. Call tomorrow.
Oh my God. And her parents have money. Like, they really could have helped.
They
You know
would
what I
have.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
sad.
It was. It was heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking. And it was like just and then okay, so then we get to I loved Randall interjecting. He was like, "Look, this is a great story, the Notebook and all that. What happened? Why didn't she come for me?" Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so I did love that moment too because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "This is great," and then I was like, "Wait, but what was the issue?" So then
Yeah.
when they explained all of that and we got that story, I was like, "Okay." And then her coming back, you know, and trying to mentally and emotionally let it go so that she could somewhat move on with her life. Um, that I know that was hard. Like I can't even imagine what that was like every single day for her.
Yep.
Um, to be able to have to push through and constantly wondering what happened to my son, what happened to this man that I love, like,
Mm-hmm.
and just never knowing, like just never knowing,
Yeah.
you know. Um, yeah, that was powerful. The end where the two of them were in the water, though, one that was definitely giving me uh Wakanda vibes. I was like, oh, they're gonna redeem Sterling's character so he can see his ancestor in a better way now. Definitely was giving me some Wakanda flashbacks.
Yeah.
But it was also, I don't know, I think just the way it was done, there were parts of it or times where I was like, this is a little creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them, because he was naked.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm like, Sterling K. Brown. Why you do all that? Why?
like, hey, you could have left your underwear on, dude. Like, I don't, nobody's out here. Okay, fine. But anyway,
Yeah. He needed to be fully one with the moment. That
so
means
he's like
skinny dipping.
naked in the water. And then his
Right.
mom, they were like mad close.
Yeah.
And his mom, and like, it was a little awkward at times. I
Yeah.
was just kind of like a little cringy. Like, I couldn't really watch. But I understood the point and I got,
Right.
obviously got the message. And I thought it was a beautiful moment for him um, to be able to let that go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, it really gives resolution to a lot of his story, like knowing, kind of like he said, like, I wasn't just a baby that was dropped off at a firehouse. Like,
Mhm.
there's so much more to my story. That's not who I am. So seeing that,
Right.
that's identity. Like, that's really solidifying his identity and correcting this narrative that he's had his whole life
Right.
about who he is, you know? So that was really, really cool to see him come to that resolution. And as a character who carries so much weight and anxiety and mental health issues, like, it was great to see that lifted off of him. And then, you know, him and Beth on the car ride home, she's like, "You're different." Like, she could tell
You could
that
see it.
that had been lifted off of him. So I loved that they gave him that.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was beautiful, and I'm really interested to see how it continues to play out with his character
Mm-hmm.
and what growth we still get to see, and then even with setbacks we still get to see because it's not, you know, it's not a linear
Yeah.
progress, right?
Yeah.
So there will be ups and downs. We know that that will come, um, but definitely really interested in seeing how Randall continues to go, and then even at the end with Kevin, you know, he decided to call Kevin and then there was that moment where Kevin was like, I can't, you know, so we'll see what happens with that situation maybe next week or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but him being like, you know what, I don't want to hold on to any more of this pain and, you know, history. Like, I'm really ready to let it go. And I
Yeah.
think that that was really powerful for Randall's character.
Yep. Same.
It's so
Oh,
good. This episode was so good.
yes, it gave us
Um,
all the feels, all the feels. Loved it.
you're right. It was like a mini movie. Now that I'm like, yeah, it was.
Yep.
It was. Woo, well, we could talk about this more for forever and ever, but we got another episode coming up next week. So y'all need to get yourselves caught up if you're not already. Tune in on Tuesday so you can watch the episode and then join us on Saturday for our review. Until next time, you guys.